Hey, it's Jase here from MindKits. Today we've got a couple of quick tips on how to help you level the build plate for your 3D printer. Now, the build plate can be one of the most frustrating things when it comes to 3D printers, depending on what sort of machine that you've got. On the Ultimakers, they're not too bad, specifically the newer machines because they're auto bed leveling, but any of the older machines where you have to manually level the build plate, there can be quite a few hiccups to get you caught up. Now, the main tool that you need for leveling the build plate on your 3D printer is something that you can calibrate the nozzle to build plate distance with. In this case, I'm using an Ultimaker calibration card, but you can just use a standard sheet of printer paper. Just tear a little piece off and we'll use that. Now, what you're using the card for is as a feeler gauge between the nozzle and the build surface. What you're wanting to do is that as you're adjusting the tension on the spring build screw, you want to move the card back and forward so that you can get a feel for the level of tension. If you find that the card buckles as you try to do this, then it's too tight and you need to back it off. If you find that there's no restriction at all and the card just slides in with no resistance, then you need to tighten it up. You're looking for a certain amount of tension where you can feel it and there the card is restricted in its movement, but not enough to buckle. Now, the main thing that you're looking for is not necessarily that you'd do it exactly the same tension that I or someone else might do it, but whatever setting or level of resistance that you set on the first screw, you want to try and reproduce that same resistance on all of the other corner or adjustable points for your build plate. Ideally, you also need to go around multiple times in order to level out any of the inaccuracies. As you adjust one corner, the other corner will then slightly come out of alignment, so you need to go around multiple times in order to get that just right. Cool, so now we're just going to dive in for a little bit of a closer look on exactly how to do this process. We'll be using an Ultimaker 2 Plus, but the same sort of ideas should apply regardless of what machine you're using. So here we just slide the paper between the build plate and the nozzle using the Ultimaker calibration card, and here we're starting at the back center of the build plate. Just a little bit of movement on the card and a small tweak, just tighten it up, bring the nozzle a little bit further away. And we'll just click to go to the next position, which is the front left on the Ultimaker, where you pop the card back in there again and give it another little tweak. So in this case, tightening clockwise brings the build plate further away from the glass, and loosening it and counterclockwise takes it further away. Here we've got quite a bit more resistance. I set this up as a bit of an example, and you can see that with the nozzle being far too close, you get quite a lot of buckling in the card. And as I tighten a bit further, bringing that glass down, there we go, we've got a bit of movement, and probably still a little bit more just to clear it so we don't get too much restriction, and that's about right. Click done, and we're all finished. Awesome, so that was just another couple of quick tips from us here at MindKits on how to best level the build plate for your 3D printer. Hopefully there was a couple of handy bits of information in there for you, and we'll see you in the next video.